Jesus Christ, the Son of God, not only fulfilled his mission to save humanity, but he did so extraordinarily. He overcame emotional challenges, resisted temptations, faced opposition, and even betrayal, all while staying focused on his purpose. To accomplish this great mission, Jesus demonstrated extraordinary emotional abilities, which were essential to his success. He dealt with the complexity of human emotions perfectly, showing us the way to master our own emotions and live according to the purpose God has for us. Today, we live in an era of great emotional pressures. We are bombarded daily by situations that challenge our patience, gratitude, empathy, and ability to stay calm. Looking at the emotional habits of Jesus is an invitation to learn from the Master. Jesus not only taught us about love, forgiveness, and justice, but also showed us how to master emotions and turn them into powerful tools to fulfill God's purpose. Let's explore the 7 emotional habits of Jesus that helped him succeed in his mission, and how we can apply these same habits in our daily lives. Habit 1. Social intelligence. One of Jesus' most striking characteristics was his social intelligence. He knew how to connect with all kinds of people, regardless of their social status, religion, or background. He would move in and out of places without ever compromising his values, but also without alienating those who needed to hear his message. Jesus mingled with the rich and the poor, the righteous and the sinners, always with a clear mission: to bring the good news of the kingdom of God. In Mark 2:15-17, we see a clear example of this. Jesus was at the table with tax collectors and sinners, something that was scandalous to the Pharisees of the time. They couldn't understand how such a holy teacher could be in the midst of people considered impure. However, Jesus replied, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Jesus' ability to deal with all kinds of people without ever losing sight of his purpose shows the power of social intelligence. He knew when to speak, when to listen, and how to behave in each situation. This emotional habit allowed him to connect with those who most needed his help and message, without being contaminated by the environment or straying from his values. For us, social intelligence is also essential. We often encounter people from different lifestyles, beliefs, and behaviors. The way we relate to them without losing our essence is key to success in our spiritual journey. Jesus teaches us that we can connect with anyone, as long as we have a clear purpose and stand firm in our principles. Habit 2. Assertiveness. Jesus didn't waste time in places that wouldn't contribute to his purpose. He had an impressive level of assertiveness. Jesus knew where he should be, who he should talk to, and what he needed to do to fulfill his mission. He didn't beat around the bush, nor did he allow himself to be distracted by trivial matters or situations that wouldn't contribute to the kingdom of God. In Matthew 23:25, we see Jesus directly confronting the Pharisees and teachers of the law. He wasn't afraid to speak the truth, even if it meant being misunderstood or rejected. Jesus was direct and focused. He didn't get caught up in futile discussions or with people who only wanted to test him or divert his attention. He always kept his focus on what really mattered, doing the will of God. Assertiveness is an emotional habit that helps us focus on what's important and avoid wasting time on things that are not aligned with God's purpose for us. Jesus was extremely assertive in his interactions. He knew when to speak, when to confront, and when to withdraw. He didn't let others' opinions or expectations divert him from what really mattered. For us, learning to be assertive is crucial. We often get involved in situations that bring no benefit to our purpose. We need to learn to say no when necessary and to stay focused on our mission without being distracted by things that don't add value. Habit 3. Gratitude. Gratitude was one of Jesus' emotional pillars. He always showed gratitude to the Father, whether in moments of victory or in moments of difficulty. Jesus' gratitude was for both great miracles and small gestures. A powerful example of this is in John 6:11, when he multiplies the loaves and fishes. Before performing the miracle, Jesus gave thanks, showing that even before seeing the result, He was already grateful to God for what was to come. Another example of gratitude is in Matthew 26:26-27 at the Last Supper. Even knowing that he would face crucifixion, Jesus gave thanks for the bread and wine, symbols of his body and blood that would be sacrificed. This act of gratitude, even in a moment of extreme pain, shows how much Jesus understood the power of being grateful. Gratitude allows us to change our perspective, focusing on what we have rather than what is lacking. This emotional habit transforms our mindset, moving us away from complaint and closer to God's provision. Jesus teaches us that gratitude doesn't depend on circumstances. It is a choice we make in any situation. Habit 4. Positivity. Jesus had the habit of being positive, even in situations that seemed hopeless. He never let negativity or pessimism take hold, not even in the face of the greatest adversities. In his sermons, like the Sermon on the Mount recorded in Matthew 5, Jesus always sought to bring a message of hope and transformation. He taught his disciples to be the light and salt of the earth, showing that despite the difficulties, each of their missions had a significant impact. Even when confronted by Pharisees or questioned by his followers, Jesus didn't respond with complaints or negativity. Instead, he always brought a word of hope, a new perspective on how to look at life and challenges. Jesus' positivity was contagious and inspired people to believe that change was possible. For us, the habit of positivity is also crucial. In a world full of problems and challenges, it's easy to get carried away by negativity. However, Jesus shows us that by maintaining a positive perspective, we can face any situation with confidence and faith. Habit 5. Patience. Jesus was the master of patience. He understood that everything has its time, and he trusted in God's plan. There isn't a single moment in the Gospels where we see Jesus rushed or desperate. He knew that God's timing is perfect, and that sometimes it's necessary to wait for the plan to unfold according to the Father's will. In Mark 7:18, we see an example of patience when Jesus calmly and clearly corrects his disciples, explaining what they had yet to understand. He always gave time for his followers to learn and mature. Even when faced with others' unbelief or slowness to understand, Jesus demonstrated patience. Patience is an emotional virtue that helps us trust in God's process and timing. Often, we want things to happen immediately, but Jesus teaches us that we must trust, give time to time, and believe that everything has a purpose. Habit 6. Empathy. Jesus not only understood human pain, but he also knew the power of empathy. He put himself in others' shoes, felt their pain, and wept with them. In John 11:35, we have the shortest verse in the Bible: Jesus wept. This moment occurred after the death of Lazarus. Even knowing that he would resurrect him, Jesus was deeply moved by the pain of Lazarus' sisters and those who were mourning. Jesus' empathy went beyond just feeling what others felt. He also acted with compassion. He healed, fed, and taught, always with his heart attuned to people's emotional and spiritual needs. Jesus understood that to fulfill his mission, it was necessary to deeply connect with human pain. Today, empathy is an essential emotional skill for connecting with others and living a meaningful life. Jesus shows us that by feeling and understanding others' pain, we can be instruments of healing and transformation. Habit 7. Emotional self-discipline. The last, but perhaps the most important emotional habit of Jesus was his self-control. He had unshakable emotional self-discipline. Even in situations of extreme pressure, such as his arrest and crucifixion, Jesus remained calm and didn't let his emotions divert him from his purpose. In John 18:28-19:16, during Jesus' trial, we see a man totally in control of his emotions. He was humiliated, slapped, betrayed, and unjustly condemned, but at no point did he lose control. He didn't retaliate, seek revenge, or even let himself be consumed by anger. His emotional self-discipline was so strong that he managed to forgive those who crucified him, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. This emotional self-discipline is a powerful example of how we can remain calm in the midst of storms. When we have self-control, we can act according to our principles and not based on momentary impulses. Conclusion. Jesus left us a profound emotional legacy. His emotional habits, social intelligence, assertiveness, gratitude, positivity, patience, empathy, and self-discipline were fundamental to the success of his mission. He showed us that mastering our emotions not only helps us fulfill our purpose, but also brings us closer to God and the people around us. By applying these 7 emotional habits in our daily lives, we can live in a more balanced, focused, and intentional way. Jesus was the perfect example of how to live with emotions in harmony with God's will. He showed us that even in a world full of challenges and injustices, it is possible to succeed in our mission as long as we know how to control our emotions and use them to our advantage. Now it's your turn to follow Jesus' example. Develop these emotional habits in your life and see how they can transform the way you think, act, and react to situations around you. Jesus' path is the path of peace, calm, and full trust in God. By following his footsteps, you will be more prepared to face any adversity with serenity and strength. Remember Jesus' words in Matthew 11:29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." By learning from him, we will find true peace and success in our journey.